things to do here. Jacob was not going to allow his son to go to Egypt. So it was not going to happen. Okay? How is he going to go why should he go to Egypt? Because his destiny was in a land, in a heathen land. A land that was way out. Not just in distance. It was far off in every sense. Far off in the sense that they didn't worship God. They didn't even regard our way of life. Because the Bible tells you they didn't even like shepherds. Okay? They were distant. Distant. But his destiny was in Egypt. So God had to take him by force as a prisoner and wrap him up, as it were, and, as it were, thrust him into his destiny, into the place where his destiny was. Okay? That was it. And God is still doing things like that to people. Still doing things like that to people. You know, when I came to this country, that was the person I felt like, Joseph, many times, in a strange country. Wondering, what am I doing here? Wondering if I made a mistake to come here. Okay? Why did I trade my life to come here? You know what I'm trying to say? What am I looking for? Where am I searching? Where am I going? Okay? And in order for Joseph to get down here, you see, his brethren weren't going to take him down there either. So the Bible said that in their anger, they tried to kill him. They said, well, we don't want to see those dreams come to pass. And so his father sent him in obedience to go see his brethren. You know, brethren. It was an act of love. And Joseph said, yeah, Daddy, I'll go see my brethren. You know, we'll see them. They were in anger. They said, oh, this is our opportunity now. Daddy's not here. We kill him, and that's it. They never even thought of the consequences, like, kill him. So what about God? What are you going to say to God? Kill somebody? For what? Our own brother at that? But the rage inside of them was such that they would destroy him in a moment. So his eldest brother Reuben said to them, well, no. Good idea. Oh, you're going to kill him. No. Put him in this pit here. And Reuben now had a plan that when they were gone, he would come and take him out of the pit and take him back home. Reuben is gone now. He's now like, he's telling them like, don't kill him. Reuben is the eldest one. He said, no, this is not going to happen. He should have said to them, listen, like Joseph, go back home to Daddy. But he left him in the pit there. They left him and said that he would come back. When Reuben came back, Joseph was gone. So he said, but what happened? I told you I had to kill him. What happened? He said, well, we saw some men coming down and we said, well, yeah, really it's not a good idea to kill our brother anyway. Maybe we just sell him as a slave and just get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? As long as we get rid of him, I mean, we get rid of this. It's like a pest to us, a nuisance. Let's get rid of him. And he's gone. Now, Reuben doesn't know what to do now. So they come up with a lie that they were going to have to deal with day after day. They would have to watch their father weeping over his son day after day after day. Now, I don't know how people do that. They lie and they lie and they lie, and the lie is there and they have to be living with it constantly. And it's going to take them many years before their lie is going to come to a point where it's going to surface. They used to say, I used to hear that growing up, they said the truth swim like oil on top of the water, so, you know, it's going to come up at the top no matter how you try to push it down, right? So, when Joseph went to Egypt, I'm not going to go too much in the whole story, but I'm just saying to you that he was 17 years old when they sold him into slavery. And he was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh. So he had spent 13 years, right? With 13 children. He had spent 13 years of his youth as a slave. Now sometimes you might have said to yourself, what was the point of serving God? Even when he interpreted the dream, the butler and the baker, the butler forgot him when he got promoted, right? Isn't that true? People forget you. And I remember the days when you and them, you were sticking out for them and you were together, you know, they're gone, right? Because now they're comfortable. But Joseph was still there waiting on God. And when God elevated him, Potiphar, who had him as a prisoner, his wife, who told lies upon him, the warden in the prison, down in the dungeon, all of these people were now subject to him. He had a chance now to take out wrath and vengeance upon them. But that was not a part of God's will. Right? That's not in his destiny. Because his destiny was to save people from death by providing food for them. And God gave him that vision. He walked in his destiny. Right? He walked in his destiny. And didn't get distracted with those things about vengeance and I'll get mad with this one. He wasn't interested in that. Right? They watch him now, and I guess they have to bow down before him or whatever, and they have to call him so-and-so what name, and not because he wanted it, but the king said that that's how you gotta address Joseph, everybody. Okay, that's my order. Okay? And only in the throne he said, I'll be greater than you. So anything Joseph said, you just do it, and that's the end of the story. Don't let me find out that you've been disrespecting Joseph in a way. Right? So the point of the matter is this, that he was elevated and his destiny. I know some people, it's like I spoke about Esther last week. They said about her being queen. Yeah, you want me queen? No. The destiny was not for her to be queen. You see? Her destiny was wrapped up in her being queen. So in other words, it was a means to an end. But God was going to use her to save her people. And so Joseph, God was going to use him to save people from death. And that's why he became governor. It says, not a matter of that, you're going to be, you're going to blow, you're going to get your head, I'm now the governor, I'm going to this. Because that's what people usually do. You know what I'm saying? You give somebody a position in the church, and then all of a sudden it's like, you can't even talk to them anymore. You must be like, for what? I remember I started my job and there was this guy, we were together and we used to talk. All of a sudden I noticed, it's like he doesn't even see me. And I tried to get his attention, he doesn't look in my direction. And I remember the Friday I saw him. The Friday I saw him at work, and I said, if he's going to act like this, then, I'm just not going to, but I sweat it out. The following morning, I got a call, he collapsed and died. An accident at this house. Just said that. And then, afterward, now I heard that he had been promoted to be assistant director. I didn't even know that. So that is the reason why he was acting like that. But I didn't even know that. I didn't even know when that happened. But that's why he was acting like that. So now he can't talk to me. I'm not in his, anymore. But when he fell the following morning, there was no angel to protect him. You understand? I know if it was me, there's an angel to keep me from falling. But he didn't have that. And he just snapped dead like that. I went to the funeral. But yeah, I went to the funeral. Of course, I went to the funeral. I mean, my co-worker. But the point that I'm saying that Joseph was not lifted up in pride because of his position that he was in. He knew that it was just a means to an end, and God was calling him to do something. And so he depended on God to give him the strategy and the know-how to get it done, because people are depending upon him, right? And that's a serious thing. When you're doing a job and you know that people are depending upon you. You know what I'm saying? It's like a mother has to provide for a family. And maybe, you know, some mothers don't just have their family, they have this one down the road who have to send a plate of food to that one, that one up the road, that one down there. And come here, John, come here, David, take this down there to that one, take that one down there, and take this to Miss so-and-so, and take that to Miss so-and-so. And when you check it out, maybe all 30 people supposed to eat out of their thing, and they figure, you know, like, what am I going to cook today? What? I need to get this and I need to get that. I need a big pot of this and a big pot of that, because so much people are dependent upon me. Right? And that's it. So they get their things together, and at the end of the day, everybody's fed and they feel satisfied because they did what they needed to do. You see what I'm saying? So Joseph did that. And Joseph is noted for that. I don't gloat over the fact that Joseph was governor. I know Joseph was not about that. Joseph was about the destiny that God had wrapped up in him. And as I said, his brethren did bow down before him and didn't even know it was him. Right? His daddy had to come and bow down to his mother, who would be his stepmother, had to come and bow down to him too. Right? Not because he wanted them to bow down to him, but that was Pharaoh's commandment. You see what I'm saying? Did Joseph go and chastise them afterward? Of course he was difficult with them at first, right? Because, and even when he told them that he was Joseph, they couldn't, they were lost. But they knew something was wrong. Because when he put them to sit down, he put Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, what is it, Issachar, all of them there. And they looked at one another and said, well, hold on, how come we are raised in chronological order, I should say, well, by birth? This is strange. And how come this man see, and they said, this is strange. And they said, but how come, well, this is strange. But they can't put the pieces of the puzzle together. Because it could never be a brother. He was sold as a slave. Right? But eventually, when they found out, the Bible said, when Joseph couldn't take it anymore. And he called him and he said, you know, the game is over, I just have to tell you I'm Joseph. And they were dumbfounded, they were speechless. By this time, Joseph's dream had been fulfilled already. There's nothing they could do about it anymore. Right? And the Bible tells you that they thought Joseph was going to whip them and chastise them afterward. And Joseph said, no man, that's out, you know. You did it because you were angry with me. But God did it for me. God did it. Let me just read that verse because of course there's so much thing to talk about. It said, you thought to do me evil, but God meant it for good. Right? It's a saying that people use a lot. The Bible said here in Genesis chapter 50, and Joseph said unto them, his brethren went to him and fell down before his face, and they said, behold, we be thy servants. Now he didn't even answer this falling down again. Right? They did that in the court, but now they come again, bowing down, now say, isn't that what Joseph dreamt? Right? And Joseph said unto them, fear not, for I am in the place of God. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. That was his destiny. See what I'm saying? And so God rested him from out his father's house and his brethren, right? And in their anger, they threw him away, but he landed into the place of his destiny, right? And so Joseph, the Bible tells you that, he said, now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones, and he comforted them and spake kindly unto them. But Joseph told them, he said at the time, he said, listen to me, I really don't belong here. He said, God is going to restore you, and you're going to go back to the place where you belong. And when you go back, take up my casket. They're going to embalm me and put me maybe in a pyramid or so, I don't know where they go. But take it and take it with you, because I don't belong here. What does that tell you about Joseph and the mindset that he had? Okay? So Joseph is saying that God took me from my father's house. He wrested me from my father's house, or my father's bosom as it were. Threw me into a place of my destiny. My mission there was accomplished. Okay? And so I need to go back to where I came from. Right? Where his going back now was not about this side of Jordan, but the other side of Jordan. Okay? And the Bible said, when Israel went out of Egypt, Moses made sure that they took his casket with them. And they took it not just on this side of Jordan, but on the other side of Jordan, which is a symbol of redemption. Right? Into the land of Canaan, which was what's called Canaan before it became Israel. Right? They took it on the other side of Jordan. So Joseph understood, really. I know some of us will get so caught up with what was going on with Egypt that you're saying to yourself, really, you know, this is where I really want to stay. Right? The Bible tells you Abraham went down to Egypt, but when the famine, as soon as he got things, he went back to where he came from. Right? The Bible tells you. Right? He went to a Philistine country, he went back to where he came from. Isaac, when the Philistine country came back, he was going to go to Egypt. Father said, the Bible said, no, don't go to Egypt. Okay, don't do that one. Okay? But I'm saying you must remember where he came from. The mission was accomplished. It was now time for him to go back. He couldn't just walk away like that because he was at a post and he had to stay there. But he's saying, I know who I am, and I remember my God and my people, where I coming from. So he said, I need to go back to where I came from. So he told his brethren, take my casket and take back with me. Take back with you when you go back. And generations passed it up. And it was handed down. They said, remember Joseph, what Joseph said, the patriarch, the next generation, remember what Joseph said? Don't forget, remember, I don't know when we're going to leave, but when we leave, we're not leaving without his casket. Right? Because a symbol of his redemption, that he was not left in Egypt. His work was left in Egypt. And even the Pharaoh who came, who oppressed them, couldn't care less about the work that he did. How he preserved them and he saved the nation. Right? And so sometimes you will do the best for people. You get ingratitude and they really don't care about you afterward. Ungrateful and worthless. Okay? Because the fear of God is not in them. Right? But Joseph, that's the thanks that Joseph got. His people were oppressed after all he did. They didn't remember anything about Joseph. Okay? But Joseph didn't belong there. So when we get to the New Testament, we see the other Joseph. And as I said, it's safe to assume that this one got his name from the first Joseph. Although he was not of the same tribe, because Joseph had two sons, Manasseh first and Ephraim. And Jacob said, every other child you have afterward, you can keep them, but these two I'm going to take. Right? They belong to me. I'm going to wrap them in with Reuben, Simeon, and Levi, and they're going to be mine And so we're going to end up having 13 tribes instead of 12. Joseph said, well, he wasn't asking him, the case closed. Right? When he was trying to bless them, he tried different. And Jacob tricked him anyway. He blessed the younger one over the older one. And so it was. It was going on for 4 generations. Right? You know that? Because it was Isaac who got the blessing over Ishmael, was younger. Right? Then come Jacob, got the blessing over Esau, was younger. Then came Joseph, who got the blessing over Reuben, who was younger. And then now comes Ephraim, got the blessing over Manasseh, who was younger. Right? 4 generations. You know that, right? So it was something that God is doing. And you see, as my daddy, this minister said one time that how God works is different from how man works. My dad used to say that if the law of man was always to be followed, then there'd be no Moses. Right? So the law was that it should be the eldest, but God said no. I don't want the eldest. I've rejected him. Okay? And so it was. When David was anointed, where is he? Was the youngest again. Right? The eldest was rejected. Okay? So God will choose who he chooses. And the thing about it is that there's a destiny that's wrapped up in it. It's like, you know, you might say to yourself, well, you know, let me just go back to Joseph here. As I said, they were from different tribes, but he got the name. And you might, and let me make that thought. You might say to yourself, well, because you are this physically, and you are that, and you are that, then you can be this. But does God give you the gifts and the talents for that? You see, because just like with Saul, when God made him to be king, it seemed that he was capable of handling the job. But soon after he got the job, he just bungled the whole thing. And Samuel said, but now your kingdom will not stand. He said, but what have you done? You got this opportunity to, and you bungled the whole thing. You bungled the whole thing, and now it's not going to work out for you at all. Because you ignored the commandment of God. How do you expect you're going to succeed when you ignore the commandment of God? You're not going to succeed. Right? And so, you have to remember who is in authority. You see? And if you try to take it up and say, well, you're going to want to take away God's position. You see? Because he's the one who gives you the talent. He gives you the gift. So if you try to go, well, you can do without him and go beyond what he wants to, then that's when you're going to be in trouble. So Joseph now, the Bible tells you that Mary was the person that God chose to carry his son. Right? The angel said, "Hail Mary, thou art highly favored." Highly favored. People love to say to everything, "I'm highly favored." And maybe if you ask them a little bit later on, then they are despondent and all manner of things going on with them. They don't have any faith, you know, all these things they talk about highly favored. Mary was one really highly favored. She was, because she was chosen above all women, right? For generations, she was chosen, her destiny, right? But you see the character of the woman, and you're going to see the character of her, not just in that birth, because you never heard anything about her until the time when the angel came to her, right? But even before that, God had prepared her from the foundation of the world. She was prepared from in her mother's womb to be that Messiah, the mother who would carry the Messiah. The woman who would carry the Messiah. So I'm saying to you that because Mary now, she got herself espoused to a man named Joseph. And Joseph, you say, well, Joseph got into the picture really because of Mary. Right? So Mary is attached to Joseph. So Joseph gets into the picture. And you see when God was, Joseph was a choice man of God, you know. You understand? He was a man who had a destiny. We didn't hear much about him long after Jesus, after the temple when he was 12 years old, when he was left back. But for whatever time he lived, it was clear that, I don't believe he lived very long, okay? But his destiny was wrapped up in the Messiah, the birth of the Messiah. And Satan wanted to cheat him out of his destiny. And this is why sometimes you have to be careful of what you're looking at. Because when he found out that Mary was pregnant, what was Mary supposed to tell him? You see, when the angel Gabriel came to John's father and told him that his wife is barren and she's going to have a son, as much as this man was a priest and he knew God, he was there arguing with the angel. And the angel actually said to him, he said, I'm Gabriel. You know, I'm saying, you must have heard of me, right? I know you're going to be dumb. Why did he say all these things? Because you don't believe God. So Mary was the one now who, she didn't bother asking the question. She just said, be it unto me. She said, how is this going to happen? Because I don't have a man. So and the Lord explained to her, the angel, and she said, okay, be it unto me according to your word. But then she never asked him, like, so how am I going to explain this to Joseph? Do you know I'm engaged? I mean, how am I supposed to have a baby now? And so what's going to happen to my marriage? I'm supposed to get married, and my husband and I are supposed to be together. How am I going to so-and-so? She could be asking all of the questions. She could be asking all of these questions. But she didn't afterwards. She just said, be unto me according to your word. Lord, do whatever you want with me. I'm done. Then afterward, I'm sure the devil must have been saying to her, well, look what you did. So what happened when you get pregnant? What are you going to tell Joseph? Do you know that they're going to stone you? Do you know that Joseph's going to put you away? They're going to stone you. They're going to kill you. Right? So all of these things must have haunted the devil set up now to haunt her. All she had as her confidence was the word of God to hold on to. Joseph's going to turn his back on you. Your marriage is done. No more wedding day. So Joseph, you think he's going to wait till you have that baby before you get married? Okay. But she was trusting in God. And God stepped in. Stepped right into Joseph's life. And he said, look, okay, Joseph, I know what you're thinking. But what Mary has been telling you is true. Okay? That which is conceived of her is of the Holy Ghost. You know what the Bible said? And the Bible tells you here, Joseph, the Bible tells you that when Joseph, her husband, being a just man. No. Before I read to that verse, Matthew chapter 1, verse 15. Now the birth of Jesus was on this wise, when his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph. Before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privately. You know, private breaking up. But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sin. What was God saying to him? He said she's going to bring forth a son, and you're going to be the daddy. Right? Remember the story with John? If I go back to it, that when Elizabeth had the baby, right? They said they were going to call him Zacharias after his father. And